close it. So any project that you start, you initiate, plan, execute, monitor and control, and close it. Now, planning is the most important part from PMP exam point of view. It has 24 processes, execution has 10, monitoring and control has 12, closing 1, initiation has 2. In initiation, we make a project charter that formally authorizes project manager, that gives the authority that project manager can work on it, that gives basically a formal power that this project can work. Then we have identified stakeholders, where stakeholders are basically identified, they are listed. Who are the stakeholders? What are their powers? How can they work? How can they not work? All those things. What is their power? What is their interest? Maybe we use salience models in power, interest, urgency. So once we have approved charter with a stakeholder register in which all stakeholders, or I will say major stakeholders, because this will be an iterative process, we will be again coming back when we go through further documents. So as far as right now, we have a stakeholder register with all the participants, all the stakeholders in it, ranked through power interest matrix or through salience model. So when we go to planning, the basic purpose of planning is to make project management plan. The basic purpose, I will say again, of planning is to make project management plan. Project management plan contains scope, requirement, schedule, cost, quality, resource, risk, communication, procurement, stakeholders, and it also contains three baseline: scope baseline, schedule baseline, and cost baseline. So three major baselines. So the major purpose of planning is to make project management plan and get it approved. Once the project management plan get approved, that we get approval, that we can do work, then we can start the work. Then we can go to direct and manage work and do all the stuff. So basically, how this is made, first we go to the scope, and the basic purpose of scope is to make project scope statement and scope baseline. So three main things. Remember, three main things. Here in scope, you make scope baseline. Here in schedule, you make schedule baseline. Then in cost, you make cost baseline. Now these three baselines are the most important things that you will be looking all the time. You will be trying to get all these things within them. Then in planning, the next most important thing come, how to manage risk. How to manage risk. You make a risk register, you identify all the risks, you perform qualitative analysis on those risks. This means you rank those risks. You rank the risks which are high priority, low priority, and all those things like. Then you give a number to risk, how much money you need, how much schedule it is required. Then you make response for risk. Now, when you're making response for risk, you are making response for positiveness and as well as negativeness. Now, when we are doing anything, we need resource, we need team. So, in resource part, we get the resource or we plan for resource. We plan for those team or resource. We try to maintain the quality, and quality is a very important thing. So, for that, we make a plan. And once all these things are done, the baselines are done, quality is done, we are planning for the resource, we communicate this thing. We plan for communication, and we are planning for communication for whom? Basically, for whom we are planning? We are planning for stakeholders. We are planning communication for basically stakeholder. So communication and stakeholder process goes hand in hand. Okay, I'm removing this. So we have in planning three baseline. The purpose of scope is to make scope baseline through scope management plan, requirement management plan, then requirement traceability, then project scope statement, and here we get scope baselines. Once we have that baseline that is fixed, that can only be changed through formal control procedure, which we will go after some time to that. Then we get the schedule, we divide the work package further into smaller activities, We get activity list, activity attributes. We sequence those activities, then we estimate the duration, all those analogous estimation, parametric estimation, 3-point estimation, the bottom-up estimation. We do that here. Once we have that estimation, we combine all these activities and we see how the schedule looks like, and we get the project schedule, and most importantly, we get schedule baseline here. Once we have schedule baseline, we have 3 out of 2 baseline, scope baseline, schedule baseline. Then we go to the cost. In cost, we again estimate cost for all those activities, and in develop budget, basically we aggregate, we add all those activities, and we get project budget and scores and cost baseline. Now we have the third baseline. Please remember, in cost baseline or in schedule baseline, contingency reserves are within the baselines. Management reserves, management reserves which deals with unknown risk are part of the overall budget, overall schedule, but they are not the part of baselines. This is a very important concept to understand. Then once we have the complete plan here with us, we get a complete project management plan. Now this plan will keep on updating along the way. Although baselines are there, but if something comes up, then it will get updated. Now, once the plan is there, then we go to direct and manage work. Now, this is the only process in which real work is done. Yes, this is the only process in which real work is done. Direct and manage work. So once the work is done, we get deliverables. We get deliverables at our hand. Deliverables were the things for which we were doing this project. So we get the deliverables, and along the deliverable we get the facts. We get the raw data which tells us how much things have been done, which does not make sense individually, but we do get work performance data. So if there are issues, we get issue logs, and if there are changes, we get change request. And we manage knowledge, explicit and tacit knowledge. In here we write the lesson learned, here where the real lesson learns are written. Now, when the work is being done, we need someone to see the quality, to check how the things are done. So these guys, basically manage quality guys, they manage quality guys, they go to direct and manage work, and they tell them, hey, this work is not according to the plan. This work is not according to the agreed quality. You may have to do preventive action, corrective action, or defect repair. So quality is basically controlling direct and manage work, telling them how to do the things. They are ensuring that quality product is being produced. Then we have, once we are ensuring quality, who is ensuring basically quality and who is doing the work? Our team is doing. We get acquire the team, we develop the team. Here basically where the Tuckman ladder, the Tuckman theory or Herzberg theory of motivation, theory X, theory Y, expectance theory, and Maslow hierarchy, how basically people works. Then Tuckman ladder, forming, storming, uh, for norming, performing, adjourning happens. Here basically that thing happens. And when team starts working, we do have a conflict. So in order to manage the conflict, we always go for win-win solution. We always try to tackle the win-win situation, and we try to solve it through collaboration and problem solving. Remember, avoid or running away is a lose-lose situation. We should always avoid that. Actually, avoid. Then this is basically where all the communication is done. Data produced come here, and everything is communicated through managed communication. These are those communication guys that are giving the information. All information, all communication is coming to them, and they are basically giving it to all control processes. You send the specific communication, the right format, right thing, like you send scope information to scope guys, schedule information to schedule guy, cost information to cost, quality, and along these lines. And if there is any risk, you implement those risks. You already planned what to procure, make, or buy, so you conduct procurement here, and along the way you manage stakeholder engagement. You see where is the current engagement of your stakeholder and what is your desired engagement. You manage your engagement accordingly. So if I can just drop it, okay. So you manage your stakeholder engagement accordingly. So this is all about execution. Remember, execution may seem small to you, but this is the largest in exam, 31 percentage. If I can say, 62 questions will come in. So you need to understand the complete execution, top to bottom, bottom to up. This is the most important process exam point of view. Not the maximum process, but the most important process. Okay, so then we go to all controlling process. We will cover this later. The data that was produced here, it goes to all controlling process. Goes to, if I can, goes to all controlling processes. Data, mhm, communications, all control process. Then work performance data, I would write work performance data and it becomes work performance information. Basically, we have contextualized the data to that information. We have converted that information in a way that is understandable for all the people. So data get converted into information, and through all these processes from here till here, the information goes to the information goes to here, monitoring and control, and we get work performance report. Work performance report. These work performance reports help us to see how to take a change request, how to manage change request, and change request get approved here. Remember, change request can be generated from basically all execution processes, some of the planning processes, all controlling processes. When you are trying to control, you are seeing where your deliverable lies. So change request can be generated from all the processes, but change request is approved only through this process. Once the change request is approved, it goes to again direct and manage work, the workers, the people who are actually working, and we say, hey, we have some change request here. We need to implement that corrective action, preventive action, or maybe defect repair. And quality ensures that we implement those change requests. So this is our journey of change request. Then let's see the journey of deliverable. What happens? Deliverables get produced here in direct and manage work. Deliverables get produced here, and from here the deliverable goes to control quality, and it becomes verified deliverables. It becomes verified deliverables. Once we have verified deliverable, it goes to validate scope. In control quality, only internally on our team or quality is basically checking. If I'm the person, if I am the project manager, my team is checking the quality. Is it according to the characteristic that we agreed? But in validate scope, we may ask the client to come and check and accept the deliverable, maybe check according to the scope, are the deliverables according to plan or not. Once the deliverables are accepted, we go to close the project. We go to close the project. And that's basically the complete summary of PMP in, I don't think so, 15 minutes. Once again, charter is developed, stakeholder registered, you make plan, you do the work here, you manage knowledge, you manage quality, make the team, develop the team, manage communication, manage the engagement of stakeholder, you implement your risk response plan according to the triggers, conduct procurement, you manage the information, the data converted into information according to the plan, you see schedule forecast, scope forecast, you do quality control and all those things, and information get converted into report here. Then change request gets approved here, change request, approved change request goes to direct and manage work, you implement those change requests. Once all the deliverables that were produced here and become verified deliverable here and accepted deliverable here, they once all these deliverable get accepted, once all these deliverable gets approved, accepted, you close the project. So this is basically how the journey of all things follow. All deliverables, all change requests generated anyway get approved from here. So this is all about PMP in a summary. I hope it has been useful for you. If it has been useful for you, please share it with anyone who wants to learn about PMP. As many people watch this video, their concepts will get clear. Thank you very much for listening. Okay, bye bye, and see you next time.